Hello everyone, this is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, and welcome to today's show, episode number 111 of the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues. As you're logging in, if you'd be kind enough to say where you're logging in from and hit the like button, and feel free to continue doing so throughout the dialogue. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And if you enjoy what we're doing here on the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues and the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast, and you'd like to support the program, please visit jkdrebel.com/store and check out our offerings. But of course, the best thing you can do is to just share this video and spread the word about the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues.
And we're live. All right. So, Sean Madigan.
Hey, how are you?
What's going on?
Things are good. I'm excited about doing this.
No, you're not excited. You just told me you were nervous.
It's crazy because I do a podcast every week,
right?
For like years now. And I came home, I tell my wife, and she's like, "Oh, I'm doing this podcast," and she goes, "You don't seem like yourself." I says, "I don't know why. I'm nervous." I'm like, and you know why? It's because I know Bill Sang is listening, and Bob Landers, and all these guys that know more than me are listening.
Well, here's the thing. You're my Hing when it comes to podcasting because
there you go.
Right? As a matter, I wanted to ask you this, right? Okay, so let me see if I have them here. No, I don't have them. So this is going to take some. It's going to take a little bit of production on my part. But so while we do this, right? As a matter, well, I should do a proper intro. Hello, everyone. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, and welcome to today's show, episode 111 of the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues. So my guest today is a guy who 20 years ago was an object of great envy for me because he had such an impressive website and I was just getting started with my online life, right? So I'm very excited to talk Kung Fu with him today. Sean Madigan, welcome to the Jeet Kune Do Dialogue. I like that.
That's awesome. Very good.
Right. So all right. So I rated your Facebook page. Okay. Because I wanted you to comment on some stuff. So here, but this is not all the stuff but that's the first one that I found.
Okay.
So I want you to tell people what it is we're looking at here. It's on your site, so you must know what it is.
Sure, that's a picture of my Qigong in Wing Tsun, Grandmaster Moyat, having tea with Guru Dan Santo, who is a disciple of Grandmaster Moyat, and so he would be my Sibak. Guru Dan is my Sibak in Moyat Wing Tsun.
Okay, and wait. When you and we got to talk about this guy. So there's this guy named Alec Richter. You know him?
I've heard of Alec Richter.
You heard of him, right? Yeah. Okay. So when you hang out with him doing Dudes of Kung Fu, which is hands down the best name for. You hear me? It is the best name for any type of martial art podcast. Dudes of Kung Fu. When you guys get together, do you have like a production assistant or some? Is there somebody working controls?
Well, not when we actually record the podcast. It's just me and Alex, and I record my audio. Alex records his audio, and then we both email it to my son. And my son works as like a production assistant. He works as the producer of the show, and he mixes the audios. He puts the music on. He does the intros. He sometimes he'll line up guests. He handles all the stuff on the Facebook pages. He handles the Patreon sites. He does all that stuff. He handles all that. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Alex could figure that stuff out.
All right. Okay. Well, I don't have an assistant, so I'm going to be doing this stuff myself. All right.
Very good.
So, okay. So here's another one I want you to comment on. So everybody knows that's Grandmaster Yip Man, but what's he doing working the Tan Sao?
Oh, you see, you're gonna start asking real questions, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a weighted Tan Sao. I equate that, and you know what? There's people so much more qualified to talk about Wing Chun more than me, but I equate that to. I think a lot. I'm always thinking in terms of modern sports terms and in sports examples. To me, that's the same thing as a major league batter before getting up at the plate, putting a weight on the end of his bat and doing some swings. Now, I don't even know if batters still do that, but they did that when I was growing up. And, like they would put those rubber weights on the end of their bat and swing them. And what is so important about that, people just think like, oh, they're going to add weight to the bat and then swing the bat so that when they go to swing the bat, it's lighter. And I don't think that's true. I shouldn't say that's not true. I think that's not the primary focus. The primary focus is they swing the bat weighted until they have their stroke down perfectly with the weight. It's not just about swinging the bat. It's about swinging the bat correctly with the weight on. Then when you take the weight off, the bat will move fast, right? So in my opinion here, Grandmaster Yip Man is not just doing a Tan Sao with weights on it. He's trying to make sure he's doing a perfectly structured, correct Tan Sao with the weights. And then when the weights are off, it's easier. It's less muscle restriction. And right. I think we have to think in terms of perfect practice rather than just practice. And I look at that as an example of that.
Okay. All right. So like I told you, I rated your Facebook page, right? And you've got a ton of pictures of, I call it Bruce Lee in his Wing Chun or Kung Fu phase. Sure. Right. So is there a reasoning behind that?
I think that's what just appeals to me.
Okay.
I was never, I shouldn't say never, as an adult, as a grown up, I'm not so much a Bruce Lee fan as I am a Jeet Kune Do fan. And I like the older pictures, the more kung fu-ish pictures of Bruce Lee rather than the pictures from the movie stills, the Enter the Dragon type stuff and things to that effect. I like pictures that are more real life as opposed to movie production stuff. So I like a lot of times you'll like look at people's Bruce Lee pictures and there's a lot of stuff from like movie sets and stills from Enter the Dragon and that's all fantastic. But I tend to like pictures that are more kung fu oriented, but real life. Him working out in his backyard, things that him with Taki, with Grandmaster Moya, with Grandmaster Yip Man, things to that effect. I like real life pictures as opposed to movie stuff, and so that's why you see. And I think that's just what catches my eye.
Okay, got it. Bob Landers wants to know if Grandma Moyet is still alive. I don't think he is he?
No, Moyet passed away.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I actually have a quick story about that, if you don't mind.
No, yeah, go, man.
Okay, so a long time ago, I had hosted Matt Thornton. I don't know if you know who Matt Thornton is. Mm-hmm. So I brought Matt Thornton in for a seminar, and which was bar none one of the best seminars I've ever was involved in.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I brought Matt Thornton in for a seminar, and I had people signing up left and right for the seminar, and some of the people started training with us. So I was very much into an MMA type of mindset in my training, and it wasn't so much JKD, or it was just very MMA. I'm a wrestler. I wrestled all through school, so I had that wrestling background. One of my best friends is a boxer, so we kind of put it all together, and So anyway, about a month before the seminar, some guy came and joined up because of the seminar, joined up my classes and started training with us.
Mhm.
And he was training with me a little bit, and then came the seminar, and I had a habit because I taught right out of my house. When people started training with me over the week or two that they were training with me, I would Google their name because they were around my wife and kids, and I wanted to just see if they had any online stuff that was weird. And so gentleman signed up with me. He started taking lessons. His name was Tom Kagan, and I Google his name and I find some stuff, interesting stuff. So the first day of the seminar, I go up to Tom and in the morning session, and I says, "Can me and you go to lunch together after the lunch break?" And he said, "Oh, sure, no problem." So we go to lunch, and I never forget, we bought some pizza. We go and we sit in my car. And I said, "So Tom," I said, "when you signed up for me, I asked you if you had any martial arts experience, and you said, 'Oh, just a little.'" And he says, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I Googled your name, and it came up that you gave the eulogy at Grandmaster Moyat's funeral." And he goes, "Oh, yeah, that." I go, they don't just let guys that have trained there for a little while give a eulogy at Grandmaster Moyat's funeral. He goes, "Oh, yeah, right. Well, I'm a disciple of Grandmaster Moyat." So that's how I met my Wing Chun Sifu.
Ah, okay. That's why I recognize his name. Yeah.
Right. So that's how I knew something was up a little bit because when he would come down, I have a jong in my basement. I have a gym in my basement, right? Okay. Which you look at me, I definitely should go downstairs more often. But I have a gym in my basement, and in the basement I have a couple of jongs. But at the time I only had the one jong, and he would come down. Tom Kagan would come down and he would just like play with the jong a little bit, not work it, but like look at it, kind of laugh a little bit and stuff. And I remember saying like, "Oh, don't worry about it. We don't use that. That's you can hang your coat on that. And he was like, "Oh, hang your coat on it? That's what it is." Yeah, it's a Chinese coat hanger. Just hang your coat on it. And then of course we started talking and everything. And after class, we would still have our MMA class. And then after class, everybody would leave. And I kind of like half begged him to please teach me, some Wing Chun. And he started telling me stories about Grandmaster Moyat and how Grandmaster Moyat looked at his perspective of Wing Chun. And I kind of fell in love with it. And that's how I met my teacher and became a Wing Chun student.
So the Wing Chun came before the Jeet Kune Do?
Oh, no. So, well, first of all, I trained a little bit of Wing Chun when I was younger, but I honestly, I don't even remember like the guy's name. So it's like that. I don't even know if it's it's one of those things you do when you're a kid. You bounce from school, right? Yeah. So I don't even remember the guy's name. So like I never even placed any kind of importance on it. I didn't get any rank or anything. It wasn't like I was any good at it. I was a fat kid trying to roll around in the class, right? So, but I did Jeet Kune Do with Steve Golden for the longest time, and then after I was with Steve for quite some time, I had told Steve that I was interested in developing a really strong ground game, and then that's when I decided to contact Matt Thornton, and it was Matt Thornton that I met Tom Kagan and started learning Wing Chun proper. How I would say because I kind of feel like people say, "Well, didn't you learn enough Wing Chun with Steve?" And because Steve does have a strong Wing Chun background. And yeah, absolutely. I did learn a lot of Wing Chun with Steve. Mm-hmm. But I always wanted to learn the system proper. I wanted to say I was a Wing Chun man. I want to feel like I could represent Wing Chun properly. Now, listen, I'm never going to be the Wing Chun man Alex Richter is. Alex lives and breathes Wing Chun. I'm never going to be that guy. You
know what? I don't like him very much.
Oh, okay.
You know why?
Why?
When he speaks Cantonese, you can't tell it's a white guy.
Right.
I don't like him. It's so good. I could listen to him all day.
Oh, he's a very talented, very smart man. He's a very
man.
He's a very talented, very smart man, and he works hard. I probably shouldn't say he's talented. I should say he works very hard and he's worked hard for everything he has. And he has a a beautiful school. But it's, it's like I said, so I'm never going to be the Wing Chun man that Alex is, but I wanted to feel like I was doing Wing Chun proper. I wanted to understand the forms as best I could understand the forms. I wanted to understand the drills as best I could understand the drills. And Steve's perspective was always going to be JKD first. And I love that. And I love what Steve does with I guess his interpretation of Jeet Kune Do. I'm always afraid of upsetting other people, but in the way Steve does JKD, I love the way he does it. But I wanted to say I understood Wing Chun as best I can, and I kind of felt like I wanted that proper Wing Chun training, and in taking private lessons with my Wing Chun for Tom Kagan for now many years, I feel like I now have a good perspective on Wing Chun that I just never got before. Like Steve would, give me lessons on things and ways of looking at things, but Tom was able to at least get it through my thick head, the kind of how the forms are connected, and at least in the way it's taught in me way at Wing Chun. Mm-hmm. And I just enjoy it. I always say, people say to me, well, if this lineage of Wing Chun is maybe better fighters than that lineage of Wing Chun, or if Muay Thai is better than this, why do you still do Wing Chun? I enjoy it. I kind of do things because I like them. I'm at that stage in my life where I only do things that make me happy. I work too hard. I'm literally at my job. The other day I posted on Facebook. I'm at my job 35 years. I've worked hard for 35 years. I'm still working hard. Mm-hmm. So my off time is going to only be done doing things that make me happy, Right. And doing Wing Chun makes me happy, and doing JKD makes me happy, and playing guitar makes me happy, and spending time with my family makes me happy,
Okay. That shocked the crap out of me.
What?
When I saw the picture of you with the guitar. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that later, right?
Okay, sure.
I saw the picture of the guitar. I go, what? He's a Renaissance man.
Right?
Play
the blues, man.
So this picture here, can you see this?
Yes, that's from my first seminar with Steve Golden.
Okay. So now you brought him to New York. You went out to California.
So how did I connect? Can I start with how I connected with Steve Golden, or?
Yeah.
Okay, so I had that website you mentioned, right? So I had this very big and popular website on Jeet Kune Do, right? It was, at some point it was like hundreds of pages deep, and it was because it was at the infancy of the internet. I lucked out. I was, I guess I was a little ballsy a little bit. And what I did was I remember calling Black Belt Magazine mm-hmm. and saying I wanted permission to use all their Jeet Kune Do and Wing Chun articles. There you go. Wow, look at that. Oh, my God. That's impressive. Yeah.
No assistant. Nice.
There you go. That's my old website.
Okay, watch this. Okay, wait, hang on, hold on. Watch this.
Combative solutions, right? Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious! I still have some. Whoops! I still have some of those T-shirts downstairs.
Right. So let's talk about this website, because that's the one that I saw.
Sure.
You see?
Yeah, so I was building this website, and I called Black Belt Magazine, and I said I want to make a Jeet Kune Do website. I was making a Jeet Kune Do website, and I wanted to use all of their articles on Bruce Lee and on Jeet Kune Do. Mm-hmm. What did I need to do for them to have that permission? And they called me back, and you could tell they had no idea, because again, this was just the start of the internet. They had no idea. So the guy calls me back and he says, well, we checked with our legal team and they said as long as you give us a link back.
Right.
on each article, you can do it. Perfect. Well, I rated every Black Belt magazine going back for years. Every Wing Chun and Jeet Kune Do and Bruce Lee article they did, I scanned in, and it was just like it was, and I just created this website that just exploded.
Yeah,
like it just exploded, and it became very popular. And I had a discussion forum on it. It's like a Facebook group to you kids.
Yeah, exactly.
And I had a discussion forum on it, and I would try and keep the discussion solely on Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do, because I had a friend of mine, Dave Green, who was a Jeet Kune Do instructor in the United Kingdom, and so we were very good friends. And he ran a concepts forum, and I ran an original forum.
Okay.
And whenever anybody would post anything about original JKD on his group, on his forum, he would delete it and say, put that on Sean's forum. Anybody came on my forum and posted about Sinawali or some kind of stick and knife type thing, I would delete it and say, put that on Dave's forum. And in doing that, we helped each other grow.
Right.
So he got big with the concepts forum groups, and I got big with the original group.
Nice.
And it just kind of exploded, so what happened is one day I get an email from a guy named Steve Golden, and it says, "Hi, my name is Steve Golden. I practice Jeet Kune Do also. I've been looking through your website. It's really interesting. You can tell you did a lot of work on it. Tons of great information. Unfortunately, most of it's wrong." And I was like, who the fuck is this guy? I was like, what? Excuse me. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, oh, fuck you, So then I'm sitting saying, Steve Golden, I know that name.
Right.
So I pull out Guru Dan's book, The Art and Philosophy of Jeet Kune Do.
Yep.
And I see Steve Golden mentioned there, as part of the JK family thing. So I write him back and I says, "Are you the Steve Golden that trained in the LA Chinatown School with, Guru Dan Santo and Bruce Lee?" And so he came back and said, "Yes, I am." He goes, "And I hope you didn't take my remarks as being, mean or anything." He goes, "I'm just saying the truth." So I'm like, "Well, what's so wrong about the information, And he's like, "Oh, well, this, it's just so much, Because what would you want to start with?" And we started talking. And at the time, I was a student in a local Jeet Kune Do school, and so I started relaying some, going back and forth through email with Steve Golden. And at the time, he would sign his emails, Steve Golden, "Not all slugs are slow." And I'd be like, what the hell does that mean? Not all slugs are slow. Anyway, one day I come home from the store. And my wife says to me, "Oh, Sean, one of your weirdo friends called. He said tell Sean the slug called." I said, "The slug? That's Steve Golden." So I got on the phone with him and we started talking, about the 5 ways of attack. And at the time, that was kind of like the bridge across to the way he does Jeet Kune Do. It was the bridge across for me to learn how to think.
Okay.
In learning the 5 ways of attack. And it was so enlightening. It was mind blowing, and Steve has a unique way of teaching it, and he's very funny.
So I've heard.
And, well, he is. He's just such a good man. He's such a nice person. And one of my favorite stories is one time he sent me an email, and he says something to the effect of like, "How would you use attack by drawing on someone that is a collegiate wrestler and a Muay Thai fighter?" And if you get one shot at the answer, and if you're wrong, you're dead. So I give it some thought for a couple of days, and then I write him back this long, convoluted answer. And I wait. It's like 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. He's not answering me. I'm like, Jesus, I can't believe he's not answering. A week goes by, he doesn't answer me. I'm like, what the hell did I like? Did I really like piss him off?
Yeah.
So I call, and his wife answered the phone, Nancy, and she's just incredibly nice. And she's like, "Oh, hi, Sean. How are you?" I'm like, "Oh, hi, Nancy." I'm like, "Is Steve around?" She says, "Sure. Hold on one second." And I hear her yell, "Steve, Sean's on the phone." And he yells back, "Can't be Sean. He's dead." And she's like, "Steven, pick up the phone." He goes, "No, Sean's dead." Nancy, you had to see the dumbest answer that he had about how to use attack by draw against a Muay Thai fighter. He'd be dead, so that can't be Sean on the phone. And it was just, it went on from there. And
that's hilarious.
Oh yeah, he was a lot of fun to learn from. He's a really good guy, absolutely good. He's aces.
Okay, so okay, but you two have not physically met.
We had not met. We were exchanging emails and just chatting on the phone and that kind of thing. And then I said, "Oh, I want to bring you in for a seminar. I want to bring." I had left the school that I was training in because I just, for whatever reason, it was far away, and I was newly married and had a kid. It was, so I just said, I remember when you're young and you're married and you just. So I said, I can't be making that trip out to that school anymore.
Right.
So I said, "Can I bring you in for a seminar?" And he's like, "Well, you don't have a school to even support." And I'm like, "That's fine." I had like about maybe a dozen guys training at my house.
Mm-hmm.
That I wasn't an instructor. We were banging pads and sparring and almost like making shit up as we were going along. It was a complete mess. But I was like, listen, we were a bunch of morons from Brooklyn in the backyard beating each other, right? And but we were doing our best, and we were trying hard, and I would videotape what we're doing and send it to Steve, and he would come with some suggestions. But I mean, I wasn't like his student or anything at that point. He was just being a nice guy, helping me out,
Yeah.
So I arranged for the seminar, and he says okay, and so I bring him in, and I basically put an ad in Black Belt Magazine, an ad on my website, and basically sold out the seminar in a week. It was like within a week I had almost 100 people that were ready to that just sent me checks to come in.
What year was this?
Oh geez, it had to be about 20 years ago, 22 years ago, something like that.
Okay.
Years ago, I'm not sure. I've been punched in the head a lot. I'm really bad with dates.
Okay.
I got a little story for you with that, but yeah, I've been punched in the head a lot, so I'm really bad with remembering stuff. But it's got to be maybe 20 years ago.
Okay.
So I bring Steve in, and we have a great time. We have a great seminar, and his wife's sister lives in New York.
All right.
So they would visit New York and stay here for weeks at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And his wife would hang out with his sister, and I could hang out with Steve, and I got a lot of training in. And after a couple of seminars, Steve said that I could teach under his direction. Not that I wasn't an instructor, but I could teach under his direction. He was going to kind of teach me how to be a teacher, kind of thing,
Yeah.
And and I. At that point there, one of the teachers from my original Jeet Kune Do school kind of contacted me. He wasn't teaching in that school anymore, and he came over my house a couple of times, and we had this nice little club going. We had this nice little JKD boxing club kind of thing, wrestling and stick fighting, and it was during this period that I kind of had this I don't know what the right word is. Enlightenment. That's not the right word. A light bulb goes off. I was kind of one day, someone showed me this drill, and I remember being like, "Oh, that's a cool drill. I have to add that into my curriculum."
Mm-hmm.
And I started doing the drill that night in the class. And I remember one of the guys in the class saying to me, "Oh, what does this drill work on?" And I felt like an idiot, but the truth was I didn't know. I'm sure I spewed out some answer, and it probably sounded good. But I remember after class sitting down and like saying to myself, like, I'm going about this the completely wrong way, you know. I found myself that I was like adding stuff for the sake of adding.
Yes.
It was like, you know, I was adding drills that really didn't belong, you know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, you know what, I have to cut it out. I have to no more of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of came up with this little formula with Steve's help, you know, like of this idea of like, you know, what's our goal? Our goal is to control distance, timing, and rhythm.
Okay.
What attributes do I need to get that goal done?
Right.
What drills do I need to give myself those attributes?
Mm-hmm.
And what techniques do I need to enforce the principles of Jeet Kune Do?
Mm-hmm.
And I took...
That's good. That's real good.
And so everything was based on what I believe to be the core of JKD.
Right.
And you know, I threw out all the nonsense and went back to, like, Steve always taught me what I believe to be original JKD, as he learned it and as he helped develop it after I shouldn't say he didn't help develop original JKD. The JKD that he developed after he stopped training in the Chinatown school and everything, you know, like what he did. And I kept on adding to that instead of being happy with what he was doing and understanding why he was doing what he was doing. I kept on saying, "Oh, I want to do more flashy drills." And
why do you think that was?
I don't know. It may have been just because I was young and dumb. It may have been because I wanted to impress people. It may be because I just was like, "Oh, that looks cool. I want to be able to do that." I honestly don't know what the real answer is.
Okay.
I made a mistake. But I realized I made a mistake, and I said, "No, I got to take a step back here, because I'm hurting my own progress, and worse, I'm hurting the progress of people that are, you know, coming here and training with me, you know."
Mm-hmm.
So I went back, and I remember saying to Steve that I really am embracing the what I believe to be the original teachings, but I'm like, "Steve, I can't give up the stick fighting. I love the stick fighting. I have a lot of fun with it, you know."
Right.
And him saying, "Why would you give up stick fighting?" Like, "Well, I want to do JKD, right?" And he goes, "Okay." He goes, "So stop thinking of it as I'm going to do JKD empty hands, and then I'm a Kali man when I pick up a stick, and then I'm a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter when I go on the floor." He goes, "Because I want you to think of it as when you're empty hands, you're a JKD fighter.
Right.
When you pick up a stick, you're a JKD fighter with a stick. When you pick up a knife, you're a JKD man with a knife. When you're on the floor, you're a JKD man on the floor." And the idea being that as a JKD person, our goal is to manipulate the opponent, to control the distance, the timing, the rhythm, the angles.
Yeah.
So if I can manipulate with my footwork, make you be off-centered, have your weight on the wrong foot so that you can't move, so that I can attack. Yeah. Well, once I pick up a stick, that doesn't change. What only changes is the distance, the angle change.
If it's okay with you, this section that you just went over, I might edit this out and just put this up by itself.
Oh, do whatever you want. That's fine.
everything that you just said right there.
Okay, sure.
Because I went, okay, so I told you I rated your the Facebook stuff, but I rated the old stuff too.
Okay.
And in there was a section called Jeet Kune Do Combative Strategies.
Okay.
And in an under concepts and principles, it said, let the weapon teach the hand.
Right.
And I made a note. I'm like, I gotta ask him and that's what you're talking about, right?
Talking about, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. It's exactly what I'm talking about. So if my goal is to manipulate the distance, to manipulate the timing and the rhythm of the bout, well, when I pick up a stick, my goals don't change. Maybe my methodology changes, but my goals are the same. I still want to manipulate the distance. I want to manipulate the rhythm. I want to break up your timing.
Right.
So, but how I have to go about that may change. But the principles of Jeet Kune Do don't change at that point. Right. Now, I know some people that may upset some people. And I'm sorry for that. That's how I feel. And that's kind of how I learned from Steve, was that this idea of like, I didn't have to be a Kali man and that's not a knock on Kali. That's more of a mindset thing. Yeah. I don't change into a different system in my head. I don't become a Muay Thai fighter and then become a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu man into a wrestler. I'm a JKD man, enforcing the principles of Jeet Kune Do at every range. Now I have to train all these different ways so that my body and my mind know what to do. I need to know how to take that angle, empty-handed. Take that angle.
I'm going to jump off camera for a second. I got to plug my laptop in. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead. Keep talking.
So this idea of manipulating the distance and manipulating the timing and the rhythm, things to that effect. Again, that's the core of JKD as I understand it, and that doesn't change the second I pick up a stick.
You're using. Okay, would you say then you're using these other things to not even to further your JKD, but these things are being influenced by your JKD because JKD is the goal.
Right, JKD is the goal. So it wouldn't change if I was picking up a football. So when you want to see perfect examples of Jeet Kune Do, in my opinion, perfect examples of Jeet Kune Do. Look at Mike Tyson. Look at Tom Brady. Look at Wayne Gretzky. These are perfect examples of Jeet Kune Do. When people say like Wayne Gretzky, Tom Brady, right? Tom Brady or Michael Jordan. Look at Michael Jordan on the court. Okay, he has the ball, and before he takes his jump shot, he like stomps his foot. His hands come up like he's about to throw, and the second he does it, everybody jumps up in the air to block that throw. And as they're coming down, he's going up. He broke their rhythm. They're moving with him, and just by a little shift in his weight, he broke their rhythm. They all jumped too soon, and he jumps to take his shot as they're coming down. So they cannot stop him. It's the same thing with, if you look at Tom Brady, I can't stand Tom Brady, but he's the greatest quarterback in the world. But I fucking hate him. So I'm sorry, Seth. One of my best friends is a huge Tom Brady fan. I'm sorry, but when you look at Tom Brady, he's the best that there ever was, and to me, he's very JKD. His understanding of rhythm, of breaking the rhythm, he can read a defense, and while in motion, take steps, and stutter the steps and shift his weight to get the defense to think he's about to do something that he's not going to do. And then while they're recovering and can't change direction, he's throwing the ball. And a perfectly timed pass. Right. To where he has to go. And that's
how does he so does he train the other guys on his team in that aspect as well, you think?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know, but I bet everybody has a job, right? They have that expression there on the Patriots, just do your job. And maybe, the wide receiver knows they have to run 30 yards and make their cut. And Tom Brady is talented enough to know how long that's going to take, the exact distance, and where that guy's going to be when he's going to be. So he has to make his move and put that ball there when it has to be there. Just like in hockey, like, you know, like if you I don't know if you ever watch hockey, but like, you know, you look at a guy like any really good hockey player, and they do what they call a deke, right? It's kind of like a fake to one side and come back to the other side. When they fake to the one side and you see the goalie jump, and the goalie's now gone out of the net, and then you just kind of this easy shot into the net. It's the same thing with fighting.
Yeah,
it's, you know, it's how you can use the idea of fakes and feints to break rhythm.
Yeah,
You know, to me, that's JKD. You know, you if you took a JKD guy, I shouldn't say JKD. You're taking the average person, and they want to fight a pro boxer, or I shouldn't even say that, as a semi-pro boxer or an amateur, a guy who trains in a boxing gym as opposed to some knucklehead in his basement hitting a heavy bag. Somebody actually trains in a gym.
yeah,
That boxer is going to fuck up most martial artists out there. Why? Because he trains in an alive atmosphere, meaning every time you throw a punch at him,
right,
you're going to miss him by a fraction of an inch.
right.
And every time he jabs back at you, he's going to hit you square. And it's only because he trains in an alive manner. He trains it. Combat athletics, to me, are the most important aspects of martial arts. And again, I love Wing Chun. I love Kung Fu. It's fun. I love training long pole. I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying that Kung Fus are not effective. I'm saying if Kung Fus want to be more effective, they have to train like boxers. They have to train like wrestlers. They have, you know, this idea of progressive resistance in an alive atmosphere.
Yeah.
If you want your Kung Fu to be effective, then you need to seriously train like a boxer trains.
Yeah.
You know, and it's progressive sparring, it's live drills, it's drills that teach you how to control distance, how to control rhythm. You know, you want to learn how to be a good JKD man? Learn fencing. You learn fencing, and the major aspects of fencing, you're going to be a good JKD fighter. Because a good fencer can manipulate distance and manipulate timing better than anybody that I've seen.
Right.
Even, you know, and you get a guy who trains in fencing and boxing and major aspects of those. You're talking about seriously good, talented people.
Do the fencers deal with angles, or are they just always straight ahead?
Okay, so I'm not an expert in fencing. I don't know, but I think it's mostly back and forth, straight ahead.
Right.
So you know, I always say JKD is a thinking man's art. You have to take these lessons, and then you have to get in your gym and work them out. Okay, how am I going to use counter time? How am I going to take this lesson from fencing and my boxing footwork and my JKD footwork, you know, and learn to manipulate these lessons? If we look at, like, say, fencing, and we try and understand their ways of breaking rhythm, breaking rhythm is a universal truth. It doesn't have to be something that happens in the confines of a fencing strip. You know, like I just said, like Tom Brady breaks rhythm on a football field. Wayne Gretzky breaks rhythm on the ice. If we look at the way a fencer breaks rhythm, it's just another way of looking at it. And in fact, I think it's one of the best ways because it's a combative sport. Right. You know, and I think that's it's very important when it comes to.
Well, I think you're transcending mere technique here, Mr. Madigan.
A little bit, I guess. You know.
Hey, listen. That is that approach. Is that what brought you to this guy?
Yeah, like I said, I wrestled all through school.
Okay.
I've always liked wrestling. I was pretty good at wrestling in school. And when I heard Matt Thornton, when I saw what Matt Thornton was posting online, I just read the truth in it. You know, I was like, wow, what this guy says reminds me of like my wrestling coaches. You know, it was really it really hit home for me,
Okay.
And so then I had seen, God, this is back in the days of VHS tapes, right? So Matt was a member of my forum on my Facebook page. I'm sorry, on my old website. That the forum. Matt was a member of the forum.
Right.
And he used to enjoy the forum, and so I had sent him an email, and I said, "Oh, Matt," I says, I enjoy your posts, and I was thinking about ordering one of your tapes. Which tape, would you suggest I order first? And he said to me, "Oh, Sean, I really enjoy your forum, and I enjoy the way you post, and you keep the way you keep the knuckleheads out. And what's your address? I'll just send you everything."
Oh, wow.
And it was just such a gentleman. And he sent me all his tapes, and it was wonderful. It was just wonderful, and it reminded me a lot of my high school wrestling and collegiate wrestling that my friends were doing, and so I brought Matt in, and I started working with Matt and Matt's guys, and Matt had a guy here in New York, Christian Montes, and I got to really learn a lot from them, and Matt was a great teacher, a great gentleman. And
is that what prompted the change in the website? Because this is the second iteration of the website, I think.
Yeah, so originally, folks, I could have really got you. You would have really. When I first started, I was afraid to even use the words JKD.
Ah, okay.
So I used to have a website called Musashi Do. And this has got to be 25, 30 years ago. There was 50 websites on the internet at the time. And I was one of them because I was and still am enamored with Miyamoto Musashi, who was a samurai back in the 1600s, early 1600s. And so I used to say Musashi Do, the way of Musashi. And then I bought the domain name. I was the first person to own the domain name junfanjkd.com.
Really?
Yeah, that was mine.
Now, okay, I got to ask you about this, right? So this was in the days of the Jeet Kune Do nucleus?
Before the nucleus.
Oh.
I owned junfanjkd.com before the nucleus.
Okay, all right. You want to hear something? I owned Chinatown Jeet Kune Do before, and here's the other one that I owned, Backyard Jeet Kune Do.
Oh wow! There you go. That's sweet.
Right, and I think I also own Old School Jeet Kune Do.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah.
Yes,
now, were you making your own websites too?
Yeah. My
how did you learn that? How did you learn to do that?
So it's funny. So my brother is a very, very intelligent guy, and
and you're not?
Well, he's smarter than I am. So when he came out of college, my brother owned his own internet service provider.
Whoa!
You have like AOL, and so he had PIA.net, and it was his own internet service provider local to Brooklyn.
Okay.
And people would pay him like $20 a month to go online.
Right.
And I didn't even have a computer in my house. And I would go to his business and I would be like, "Look, what are you wasting your time with this stuff for?" And he's like, "I swear to God, Sean, I'm telling you, the internet's gonna blow up and everybody's gonna have it in their house." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." Schmuck, right? So that's why he's a millionaire now, and I just came home from work an hour ago. So I would go to his. I remember going to his business one day, and him saying, "Sean, what's that martial art you love?" So I said, "Jeet Kune Do." So he said, "Put it in." So I put it in, and some websites came up, but there was nothing out there that was really rocked my boat. I was like, this, So he goes, "Well, why don't you make one? Make a website about Jeet Kune Do." I'm like, "I don't know how to make a website." So he goes, okay. He goes, I'll help you. I'm like, okay. And that weekend, he calls me up. He says, I'm going to come over. I'm like, okay. He comes over and he has this big box and he bought me a computer and he hooked me up to the internet. And I'm like, Baloo, how do I make a website? And he hands me a book, How to Make a Website for Dummies. And I just started I just read the book and I just started making websites. Like,
hey, was it a computer like this?
No. It was an old PC back, that God, an Apple. I wish it was an Apple.
I ended up on this page because of your old website.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Somehow there's a link on the pages of your old website that take you to this.
That's so
this
funny.
ad from who knows, from 1990 whatever.
Right. Yeah. Wow. That's weird. That's really weird.
Yeah.
That's funny. That is so funny.
Oh, I gotta show you something else.
Sure.
I felt so honored. Nobody's going to be able to read it because it's too tiny. But this was part of your website, right?
There you go.
And there I am.
Sure thing.
There I am with the Jeet Kune Do source.
There you go. Right. Yeah. So what happened was I wanted to make a list of JKD instructors.
Yeah.
That I would forever get emails from people saying, I live in Tacoma, Iowa. Where can I learn Jeet Kune Do?
Yeah.
So I was like, hell if I know. So I asked people to just send in all the instructors that they knew of that were legitimate and give me their lineage and contact information, and I would just post it for free. And that's what I did. And I made this list that people ripped me off. I worked so much on that. That was so much work.
Yeah.
Within 2 days, it was on 15 websites. It was people ripped it off left and right. Those sons of bitches. But it was good. It was, it helped a lot of people out. A lot of people, were able to find instructors, I guess.
Yeah.
But I knew of you. I don't remember who. It was one of the guys that trained with me for a little while when he lived in Florida. You're in Florida, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He lived in Florida. I think he trained with you for a while.
Oh, okay.
I think it was Kalik. I had a guy, Kalik Hamilton. It may have been Kalik that trained with you. I'm not sure. But I remember him saying to me, oh, do you know who Dwight is? And I remember saying, sounds familiar, but I'm not 100% sure.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where I would do. So a guy would train with me in Brooklyn, train with you in Florida for a little while.
Hey, there you go. Right. Okay. So all right. So now let me show you another one and tell us how this came about.
Oh, that was just nice. He called me up one day or sent me an email and just said, hey, I'm coming to New York. Would you want to get together? And I'm like, fuck yeah. Are you kidding me? You're trained with Bruce Lee,
Right.
And he was just him and his wife were just so incredibly nice. Very nice man, very intelligent. And he came to my house for dinner. My poor wife, I invite people to the house and then forget to tell her,
Yeah.
And so, he came to the house with his wife and we had a wonderful dinner. And, we went down to my basement and he showed me some really interesting stuff. I don't think I could do any of it, but it was, it was really interesting stuff. And, but an incredibly nice man, a very intelligent man. Sure.
Okay. And story behind this one.
Jerry's an awesome dude. So Jerry, I love Jerry. So I was talking to Jerry on the phone before I even knew Steve.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was talking to Jerry. And I don't know, I was just a ballsy kid, right? One day I found out a phone number for Jerry Petit. I don't know how, someone sent it to me or something. Yeah, fuck it, I'll give him a call, right? I called Jerry Petit. Hey, Jerry, this is Sean. He's gonna know who I am. He couldn't have been nicer to me.
Wow.
Talking to me, and I was telling him how I was bringing Steve in for a seminar, and Jerry and Steve were best friends.
Oh, okay.
Best friends at a young age. They had not seen each other for a while as adults, as grown-ups, as older men, but they were best friends at a younger age. So Jerry was like, "Oh, Steve's fantastic," And so I've told the story before, but I'll tell it again. My first night with Steve, I pick up Steve from the airport, and we grab a bite to eat. We go back to my house, and I was dying to do chi sao with Steve, and I told Steve how I was pretty good at chi sao and things to that effect, and he was like, "Okay, So we go out onto the back deck of my house in Brooklyn, and we start rolling chi sao, and I do something incredibly stupid, and I get punched in the face, and splits my lip open. I'm bleeding. So I excuse myself. I said, let me go in the house. I go in the house, and my wife looks at me because now my wife was dead set against me hosting a seminar in the first place, right? But now, first night I come in the house and I'm bleeding, my nose, my mouth, everything, right? Yeah. So she looks at me, she goes, "How's it going?" Typical Italian girl from Brooklyn, right? "How's it going?" So I says, "Well, how's it look like it's going?" She goes, "It looks like that old man just kicked your ass." She says, right? So I stop the bleeding and I go out on the deck. And I feel really bad. He's like, "Why did you do that?" And I'm like, "Do what?" He showed me what I did, and he says, he goes, "That's like the worst thing you could do." He's like, "Don't ever do that." And it was a good lesson for me. And so afterwards, we had a great night, and I drive back to the hotel. And when I get back home, I called Jerry Petit. And he says, "Oh, so how did your first night go with Steve?" I said, "He split my lips open." He goes, "Steve split your lip open?" He goes, "That doesn't sound like Steve." He goes, "You must be an asshole or a really big guy." He goes, "Steve likes to make the big guys bleed." He goes, kind of puts the big guys in their place.
Right.
He goes, "I don't think you're an asshole, so you must be a pretty big guy." Says, "Yeah, I'm a big guy."
Oh, man.
So that was my introduction to Steve and to Jerry.
Okay. The picture that I showed earlier, that was you and Don Cuesta, right?
Yeah, cool, Don Cuesta. Yeah. Yep.
Right. That's your Filipino martial art experience there?
No, absolutely not. Guru Don was not my teacher. I would love to claim he was, but he was not. He showed me some stuff just being a gentleman. But okay. I used to buy stuff in New York. It was, you can buy stuff from Guru Don. So I had known someone online who knew Guru Don, and I had wanted to buy the WeCaf, the gear, the helmet, and I wanted to buy the WeCaf gear. And I wasn't the only place that was selling it in Brooklyn, it was at a crazy price. Right. And he said, he goes, "I know Guru Don Cuesta. You could probably buy from him cheaper." So I contacted Guru Don, and he came to my house, and he sold it to me for a lot less money than it was sold in the stores.
Okay.
And so, and it was so funny because I remember the first time I bought, I'm making up numbers here, okay? So I remember buying the helmet and the first chest pad, and the whole thing was $150, let's say, and I bought sticks were $5 each or something, and I bought a dozen sticks, and then the next time I said I need to buy 2 more sets of the uniforms, and he's like, "Okay," and he comes over and he's like, "Give me $75 each," and I'm like, "Wow." And then I bought more, and next time they were $50 each, and I realized that the more you buy from him, he just takes the prices off, and I realized this guy's making up the fucking prices as he goes along. But he was a really nice man, and he would come to my house on a Saturday, and he would show me some stuff. But he wasn't my teacher. I wish he was, but that never panned out really.
Now I got to ask you a question about this one because sure. the caption says, "With seminar reporter."
Sure, right.
Yeah. What's up with that?
Okay, so that was in the school I trained at in Queens.
Okay.
Really nice school. And they were under Chris Kent. And Chris Kent did a seminar at the school, and somehow I was asked to write a review of the seminar for Bruce Lee magazine for the Nucleus.
Okay.
So I wrote this. I'm sorry, my dog was barking. I wrote a like 3 or 4 page review for Bruce Lee magazine of the Chris Kent seminar. You remember the Nucleus magazine? I don't know if you ever bought it or not, but yeah,
I got it.
So so I'm in there. I wrote a couple of articles for that, and that was one of them. Was a review of Chris Kent's seminar, which was phenomenal, by the way. He teaches an incredibly good seminar.
Hey, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
What did the Nucleus do wrong? Why did this fade away?
I don't know the inside baseball of it all. I'll be honest with you. I know, you hear stories. Honestly, the other guys that I mentioned earlier would probably know much more about it than me. Bob Landers and Paul Bax and those guys there know so much more about the inside baseball, the politics of JKD. I think the Nucleus had a great thing. I think they served a really good purpose for a while. I think something happened with the Lee estate. I don't want to say that they.
All right. So let's drop that.
I think the Lee estate. I'm not saying they became greedy bitches, but maybe I think that's kind of where that should happen. And
let's talk about this.
Well, look at that good-looking bastard, huh? Yeah. Too. Yeah, listen. So, that's in Alex's school. We did a meet the fans kind of thing for the podcast, which was incredibly cool. I went up to Alex's school, which nearly killed me because it's on like the 6th floor of a building in Midtown with no elevator, and I'm a fat fuck, so I got to walk up. But it is no joke, and the nicest school I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
it's the best school I've ever seen in my life.
Well, he has to know what he's doing if he's been successful for years in Manhattan, right?
Right. He's on 6th Avenue in Manhattan, Midtown Manhattan. He has 2 floors in Midtown Manhattan and a Midtown Manhattan building. 2 floors.
Right.
Dude,
wow.
His school is incredible.
I hate him even more.
Well, you know what? Honestly, the kid worked hard.
Yeah.
He worked hard, and he deserves all the success.
Yeah.
The school is beautiful. Yeah. And you go, it's 2 floors, there's jongs, there's Muay Thai pads, everything's padded. I always said like it's old school kung fu, but like a boxing gym atmosphere.
Right.
Everybody's kind of like was friendly. I went up there. I didn't know what the vibe of the place was going to be. The people could not have been nicer.
Right.
They could not have been nicer. Everybody was super friendly, super respectful.
Yeah.
And just like you can just like when you walk in a room and you can tell people are uncomfortable. You didn't get that there. Like you could tell the people that were there.
Yeah.
Kind of comfortable, and I had this great conversation with Alex about that, and he talked about this concept like the third place. Like everybody needs this third place they go to. You have your work, you have your house, and then there's the third place you go to in your life.
That's the Starbucks approach.
Oh, right. Well, maybe that's where he got it from.
Yeah, that's the Starbucks approach.
And Alex's school is kind of like they hang out there.
Right.
It's like it's a place for them to they hang out. You can tell like they take funny pictures together. They really are like a kung fu family, and I just think he has something unique, and he runs. I mean, it's got to be the biggest Wing Chun school in the country.
Yeah,
it's got to be the biggest. I mean, or at least one of the biggest Wing Chun schools in the country.
Hey, will you? Can I impose on you to ask him if he'll come on the show?
Oh, of course I'll ask him. No problem. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, your wife's name is Lori, right?
Yes, Lori.
Okay. All right. Well, you have to thank her for letting you spend some time on Valentine's with me. So I got to show you 2 more pictures, and I just want you to tell me the story behind these, because this I could not believe. What is up with this?
I love me some guitar, bro. I love guitar. I love the blues. Everything back from Robert Johnson to, I don't know how much you like, if you like blues music at all, but I love guys like Keb Mo and Taj Mahal, and I just love these guys, and they're just so talented and so brilliant, and B.B. King and Albert King, and just these guys were just incredible. Buddy Guy, man, I would kill to hang out with Buddy Guy and just play some stuff, and I just love music, and I love blues guitar, So I started. I mentioned to my brother one day, he's like, "What do you want for Christmas?" And I'm like, I want a guitar. He's like, "Really, a guitar?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want to learn how to play guitar." There was a song that made me fall in love with blues guitar called "Hey Hey," and the Eric Clapton version is very popular, but it's originally by a man named Big Bill Brunzi from the 1930s. Big Bill Brunzi played "Hey Hey," and Eric Clapton made it famous. And when I heard that song off the Eric Clapton's Unplugged album, I'm like, I got to learn how to play this.
Okay.
It started there, and I just haven't stopped. And my wife is now tired of me buying guitars because I have a lot more than that now. Yeah. And I take lessons at my house. I have a young man that comes to my house, and teaches me on every Sunday. I take a lesson, and I get homework, and I have a guitar sitting next to me right here, and then while I'm watching TV with my wife, I'm sitting here practicing my scales, and nice. I love the blues, bro, and it's just it's
So okay, so let me see if I can do this. If you can hear, tell me if you can hear this. I hope it plays immediately because I didn't have it queued up, but I just thought of it. Okay, so while we wait for this to queue up, who else besides Alex do you think I should try to get on the program?
Oh wow. Well, I don't know who you've had on, but I would love to hear like Bob Landers or one of those guys that trained with Ted Wong for a long time, because I think Ted Wong, to me, every day I practice martial arts. There you go. Like I just think Ted Wong was brilliant, and I think I
think everybody knows what that is.
The everyday practice martial arts, probably not. That's just that was part of the intro to Dudes of Kung Fu for one.
Really? Is that what you? Oh, okay, I love it. Yeah, Kung Fu Genius, man, it's the best.
Yeah, he actually has a YouTube channel now too called the Kung Fu Genius.
Oh wow!
And it's actually really good.
Okay.
But I think to some of the Ted Wong people, some of the Jerry Petit people, Jerry. Yeah. Do you know what this? Oh, let me see if he would do it. There's a Jerry Petit guy, who's Dimitri, who's very good, very very well spoken, very intelligent. I think Dimitri would be very good for your podcast. I want to have him on my podcast.
Okay, I'll send you the links to, because I've spoken with Bob Landers already.
Okay, cool.
I've spoken with Mike Gittleson.
Uh-huh.
Right. So I'll send you the links to those two, so you can watch those. Well, and in the Petit camp, I tried to get a hold of Eric Carr right when he had started doing stuff back on College Street, but
okay,
that didn't work out. Vern, you know Vern Rochon?
Sure, I know Vern. Yeah.
Okay, he's coming on next month, I think.
Oh, Vern's you
right?
love Vern.
He's coming on. I've got somebody interceding on my behalf with Dane Junod or Dwayne Junod.
Him, I don't know.
Okay, right.
What about Bill Sang also from Germany?
Yeah, well,
Timing.
yeah, Bill.
Sure.
I spoke to Bill about doing this month, maybe a year ago, and
there you go. Okay,
nothing yet, right? So one last question.
Sure. Dude, I could do this all night. You're awesome. This is.
Okay, all right. So here's it, right? So wait,
I'm in no hurry. So
okay, I got to read the quote, right? If you don't take this site down, I'm going to kick your ass. Where do you live? Do you remember that?
No, what happened?
Okay. So that was in the frequently asked section, the frequently asked questions section.
Yes.
And you told the guy, 1600 Pennsylvania, when you get there, ring the bell and ask for W.
Yes.
Oh my God.
It was a guy that contacted me who said he was the reincarnation of Bruce Lee, and I didn't have his permission to put this website up.
Oh,
and if I didn't take it down, he was going to kick my ass. I would get some variation of that a couple times a year.
Wow.
I mean, it was insane. I mean, people would see, and I remember this used to upset me because people confused me being excited and proud of my teacher as that in some way being as an insult to their teacher.
Right.
And I would say it was, I dare you to find a quote by me of me insulting like Guru Dan or Ted Wong, or maybe in some temper tantrum 25 years ago. Like, it just doesn't happen.
Right.
But I would say, I remember one time a guy getting I won't even say who his teacher was, and him saying, why do you train with Steve Golden and not his teacher? Yeah. And I said, well, I've trained with your teacher, and he was really good, but I kind of like Steve better. Maybe I just gelled with Steve, and, I like it. I like training with Steve. Well, but why won't you train with my teacher?
Yeah, see, I wouldn't even entertain that. I'd be like, that's a stupid question. Don't even ask.
I just, and like people get like so like worked up on things like, what generation are you? Like I remember some guy coming at me, like I guess thinking he was going to upset me. Like, I heard someone say that you are a second generation, but you're third generation because Steve trained with Guru Dan and he wasn't an instructor. And I'm like, what? I said, you know what? I'm a first generation. I'm first generation Steve Golden student. That's all that matters to me.
Right.
Because I learned from Steve. Yes, Steve was taught and influenced by Guru Dan. He was taught and influenced by Bruce Lee. But I never that doesn't impact my life.
Yeah.
What impacts my life is Steve Golden. So
yeah.
I'm a first generation Steve Golden student. That's all that matters. What generation I am to Bruce Lee, I really don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't put food on my table. It doesn't make me a better fighter. Yeah. It doesn't matter to me.
What's the line of work that puts food on your table? You've been at for 30-something years.
I work on Wall Street. I work for a brokerage house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's. I work for a brokerage house, and
you're one of those boiler room guys.
Yeah.
Hey man, I love that man. I don't know what it is because I'm just a kid that grew up in Barbados, but New York, there is just a thing about that town that turns me on.
Dude, it's an amazing city, bro.
Yeah, it's which is why I told you, look, when you come on my program, just be yourself, man. I love talking to New Yorkers just the way they are.
You know what? I hate to, I fucking love New York, dude. I think New York is an awesome town. I lived in Brooklyn my whole life, And in 2001, we moved to Staten Island, which is like a suburb. It's one of the 5 boroughs, but it's definitely a suburb. And Brooklyn is more like a city, you know. And where I was living in Brooklyn started getting a little rough, you know. And I had kids. My kids were young, and on my block in Brooklyn, we had some shootings.
Okay.
You know, so it got to the point where once it got a little dark out, like you couldn't even go to the store at night because you know you had guys getting killed left and right. You know.
Yeah.
So I remember laying in bed one night, and it's funny, but it's not funny. I remember laying in bed one night, and I right outside my house, I hear like bang, bang, bang. So I check on my wife, I check on my kids. My brother lived downstairs, my mother lived upstairs. So I call my brother, I call my mother. Everybody okay? Yeah. So I said to my brother, "Come on, let's go outside. Let's see who's dead." You know. So we go outside, and there's a body laying like 30 feet in front of my house, and cops are there already. And cops come over and says, "Did you hear anything?" So our brother goes, "Yeah, what happened?" So he says, "Cop says, well, they said it was a suicide." So I said, 3 shots? Cop says, "Yeah, there's a couple of holes in their story." I said, "You know what? I got to move the fuck out of here, you know?"
Yeah.
In fact, did you see the movie Goodfellas?
Of course.
Okay. So that's based on a book.
Right.
Called Wise Guys.
Yeah.
In that book, mentions my block. Schenectady Avenue. My block is mentioned in that book.
Okay.
When we were kids, they were dumping bodies.
Yeah.
And my block was one of the bodies they were dumping bodies on. And like, so it was like, you know, so as a kid, I was like, oh, you know, grew up around the whole mafia thing, you know, but I didn't want my kids growing up in that kind of environment. And so I moved to Staten Island. It's a little nicer, but and I do like Brooklyn, but it's a beautiful city that's full of diverse people.
Yeah.
You can get food from anywhere in the world. You meet people from anywhere in the world.
Yep.
My group that I had training with me in Brooklyn on my back deck, man, there was every race and nationality you could possibly imagine. Gay, straight, we had everything. And it was just awesome. It was just cool. And that to me is what New York's all about, you know?
Yeah. And
it's a tough place, you know, you gotta have a thick skin. You have to kind of, you know, do what you have to do. But I love it here. I just, you know.
Hey, isn't Staten Island where Tom Selleck, the police commissioner, lives?
Tom Selleck, the police. Oh, okay. The Blue Bloods?
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, probably is on Staten Island. Yeah, it's a lot of cops and firemen live on Staten Island. It's a
man, I love that show, you know.
Oh, okay. My mom is addicted to Blue Bloods, man.
Yeah. But my favorite New York movie of all time, you're probably too young to know it. It's Peter Riegert and Amy Irving. It's called Crossing Delancey.
Crossing Delancey. I know of it, but
yeah.
I'm probably the same age. How old? I'm probably the same age as you. I'm 55.
You're a kid. You're a kid, right? Yeah. So yeah, it's all about growing up on Delancey below Essex.
Okay.
On the Lower East Side.
Lower East Side, yeah. Sure.
Okay. So dig this. I'm a kid in Barbados. I fly up to Miami to watch this movie.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's and then as fate would have it, in '83, you know Neil Coliff?
Sure.
That's my first Jeet Kune Do friend. That's my first Jeet Kune Do brother.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, So my first trip, I think this was my first trip to New York. Neil lived in
Great Kill,
Fresh Meadows.
Right, Fresh Meadows, Queens, out there.
Yeah. Right, and so that was my first experience in New York, man, and I've always loved it. Always loved it. Well,
next time you come to New York, let me know. You're welcome to call over for dinner. It's just I enjoy it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't mind hanging out with a fat JKD guy, it's all good, you know?
No, man, look, listen, I mean, I'm not kidding about the envy 20 years ago with the website stuff, but there's also the envy, the relationship that you and Alex have on Dudes of Kung Fu. I'm like, man, it's like there's no pre-planning. Right. It's just like, you ready to talk? Yeah, let's just talk. I'm like, oh my God. And it's so informative and it's so entertaining. And I'm just like, I listened to about 4 episodes today in preparation for you.
Alex and I have a lot of fun with Dudes of Kung Fu. Yeah. It really exploded. Like, it's so much more popular than either one of us thought it would be.
Yeah.
And probably it's a lot more popular than it should be. But, you know, like, it's getting, like, when we post an episode, it's getting to the point now we're about like 1,000 downloads in the first week. And then it goes, like, after it's up there for a few weeks, it's forget about how many thousands of downloads. It's right. Like, it's, you know, we have probably almost maybe 140,000 downloads at this point.
Okay.
It's you know, it's just exploding, you know, and
nice.
And people just enjoy it. And we didn't want to make something super serious. We wanted it to be fun. You know, I feel like when I first called up Alex and said, "Hey, let's do a podcast together," we were kicking around ideas for a name like, you know, Kung Fu Life and all these other like names of, like, you know, and they all sounded so serious, you know. Right. And Alex came over and we were sitting in my kitchen and he goes, "Dude, how about Dudes of Kung Fu?" And I was like, "That's fucking perfect."
Yeah.
Dudes of Kung Fu. Like, and it was like, oh, because I remember I said that, because I used to listen to this podcast called Three Wine Guys. I used to like wine a lot, right? And I was like, how about, like, you know, 2 Kung Fu guys? And he was like, how about Dudes of Kung Fu?
Yeah.
And it's perfect, you know? And,
that's perfect. It is perfect. It is. I love it. All right. Well, listen. Okay. So tell me this.
Yeah.
Because I did hear about it. So how's your health, and what's the plan for the future?
Well, I'm still fat bastard. I mean, it's hard, but other than that, health-wise, I'm good. You know, I need to lose weight, obviously, but right now, I have some students. It's private. You know, Seth, Chris, Walt, Dave, and I have a few other guys that visit me from time to time. My birthday's in March, right? And usually in March, we have a Kung Fu weekend, and all my guys come in and hang out.
Right.
My teacher comes over, and we have these awesome Kung Fu weekend.
Yeah.
And, you know, we just have, and it's Kung Fu, pizza, guitar playing. It's, right. You know, a lot of fun.
Yeah, I get it.
And, you know, I have guys that train with me periodically. I have guys that used to train with me a lot, and, you know, we just have a good time. And right now that I'm happy with that. That's you know, right. I'm not looking to be a school owner. I don't want work. I want.
Yeah. Who needs that? Who needs that headache? Right.
You know, I work really hard, and if there was martial arts in my future outside of what I do right now, when I lose weight, because I am working on it. When I lose weight, I would like to probably teach again. I don't want to say commercially, but more publicly.
Yeah.
And I would love to learn more about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's my future, I think. Like, because as an old man, I'm tired of getting punched in the face. You know, I want to wrestle again. You know, I used to love wrestling, and I love to stick with Wing Chun because I just love it. You know, I always say, like, Wing Chun is my love. JKD is for fighting. You know, I do JKD in case I gotta fight it. I always say, like, Wing Chun I do because I love it, and JKD I do because in case I gotta knock a motherfucker out. You know, it's like, and I wanna learn more about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I had a great base under Matt Thornton in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Right.
He was such a good coach, such a good guy.
Yeah.
And I would love
he was on the program too. I'll send you that link. You know that?
I didn't know Matt was on here.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Hey, man, I got the hookup. You know.
There you go. Good for you. Matt's an awesome dude, and he's so intelligent. He is so
super smart. Super smart.
Absolutely. You know.
Yeah.
And that's really where my future lies. You know, I've really developed some really great friendships in the martial arts, through Steve, through local guys. I became friends with Richard Torres runs a school upstate, and I've gotten to know Rich a little bit. But
he's been on the show twice.
Right, Richard's brilliant. We had him on Dudes of Kung Fu once. He's brilliant, and when it comes to the history, and one of his guys,
everything, man.
Chris LaFaus. I don't know if you've ever talked to Chris LaFaus, but
no.
Oh, dude, he's awesome.
Okay,
and
I'll add him.
Oh, Chris LaFaus is absolutely, in my opinion, really a spot on, awesome dude. Talented, smart, and will knock a motherfucker out. He, I really developed some awesome friendships in this, and I'm glad I had them. You know, it's but I'll think of some names and I'll send you a message.
Yeah, send it to me.
Sure.
Okay. All right. This is definitely the last one. All right.
Go ahead, brother.
Okay. So I'm ripping off Alex Richter here. When it comes to Wing Chun, is it WC, WT, or VT? Which one is it?
Oh boy. Well, Yip Man did VT, right? So I'll go with that one. And I just have to be what my teacher uses. So, but listen, it's just I think a Wing Chun person. Who'd be awesome to have on?
Who?
Sifu Philip Redmond.
Okay.
Oh, dude, you got to have Sifu Philip Redmond on.
Okay.
Dude, totally legit. Yeah, Sifu. Philip Redmond would be awesome to have on. And, he's a traditional Wing Chun guy. Dude, I'll send you his link to his page. Dude, great guy to have on. Anthony Iglesias, another guy to talk to, does Wing Chun and JKD. But they talk about the WT and the VT. That was, a lot of people say it was a change of an era. There was the Wing Chun WC was a lot more loosely based. And then when they came up with the VT spelling, was kind of like when they formalized things a little bit. But I don't know if I'm the great person to talk to about that. That would be a great question for Alex. He does WT because that's just WT was Lung Ting's. I guess they all kind of wanted to have their little slant on things. Yeah. And but I always say VT was good enough for Yip Man. That's what I'll use.
Good enough, right? All right. Okay. All right. On that note, thanks so much, my brother. This was so much fun.
Oh, I'm glad you liked that. I had a lot of fun. This was really good. And thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, my pleasure. And give my thanks to your wife also, because I know it's Valentine's.
Please, can I tell you? You know what I did once? I know we're saying goodbye, but it's real quick. Because I said to my wife, I'm like, it's Valentine's. I'm sorry. I made this without thinking it was Valentine's Day. She goes, yeah, tell them what you did. One time I get a call saying, hey, Sean, we need a corner man for some fights this weekend in Atlantic City. So this is back when I was working as a corner man and cut man for some MMA fighters.
Right. So
I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, no problem. Saturday, yeah. So I said to my buddy, I'm like, listen, we got some gig up in Atlantic City. We're gonna work the corner. So we got some fighters on the card, and we head up to Atlantic City. Me and my buddy get rooms in a hotel up there. I call my wife and I'm like, oh, Lord, I'm heading over to the fights right now, She goes, oh, good. I says, what are you doing? She goes, well, tonight's my birthday. So she's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Oh my God.
I was like, tonight's your birthday? She's like, yeah, tonight's my birthday, but you go have fun with your friend at the fights.
Oh man. Well, a friend of mine told me his wife said about Valentine's. She goes, Valentine's is for wimps. Right? She goes, Valentine's is for beginners.
Right, exactly. I'm married 27 years, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, look, thanks a lot,
brother.
All right, you take care.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Okay, that was episode 111 of the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues. So feel free, share, like, comment, ask questions. I'll have Mr. Madigan go over everything and we'll review after posting. Sign up for, I already asked you to sign up for notifications, right? So follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods and on Instagram at Dwight D. Woods. Quick heads up at ilovejeetkundo.com. Quick Skills Series Volume 1 still available. Volume 2 being produced in 2020. Next week on JKD Dialogues, February 21st. February 21st is episode 112 with Bob Breen of 4D Combat fame. This is the granddaddy of British Jeet Kune Do. So that's next Friday. Different starting time. We'll be on at 1 p.m. Miami time. Okay, next Friday with Bob Breen. All right, so I'll see some of you then. The rest of you, maybe I'll see you on next Wednesday for the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. Until then, this is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, signing off. Have a great weekend. I'll see you soon. Take care now.
It's done. An online center is gone.